A chilly, rainy evening in Bridgewater, Virginia will oversee an Old Dominion Athletic Conference matchup between the Vixens of Sweet Briar College and the Eagles of Bridgewater College, who meet today in a late-season field hockey showdown. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jobson Athletic Complex. I'm Tate Mills, and here we have a couple of teams that are looking to end their seasons on high notes. Bridgewater is very much alive for the ODAC tournament, and they will look to lock up a spot in that tournament tonight. Sweet Briar is not in that conversation, but they are certainly upset-minded going into tonight's game. Which one of these squads will hit that high note? We will find out soon. But first, let's take a quick look at the history books and the weather. Bridgewater leads this all-time series 13-1. Sweet Briar has had problems beating Bridgewater in their history. They're going to have to do so today if they want to come out of here with a win. It's currently 47 degrees out there. Very chilly this evening compared to what it's been recently. Feels like 44 due to the 7-mile-per-hour winds and the 15-mile-per-hour gusts. It's also raining out there. It's been raining for a good part of the evening and will likely continue to be raining as the night goes on. Expecting a lot of rain here in Bridgewater overnight and into the morning. About ready to get started here. Squads coming off of the sideline. Run through some starters first in numerical order. First for the Vixens, Gigi Hutman, Antonia Supino, Haley Litfield, Carlina Christie, Megan Newton, Larkin Schreier, Gianna Guadagno, Bella Perdue, Layla Robinson, and Emmy Birdline. And in goal is Reinhardt. And for Bridgewater, real quick in numerical order, Kylie Parker, Riley Chandler, Abigail Moondeck, Natalie Stock, Corinne Klingler, Casey Grell, Olivia Olegger, Molly Best, Jade Buckles, Kelly Amberger, and in goal is Madeline Miller. We are underway here at Bridgewater. You can see the water come off of the turf. Definitely rainy down there. Bridgewater in crimson, Sweet Briar in white. We are underway here as Bridgewater's on the push offensively. See if they can get some opening momentum. They will pass a couple of times. You can see the mist coming off of the light. Rain's been picking up. You can see it on the track down there. And you can certainly see it come up out of the turf. Sweet Briar looks to get a quick change, and they're going to be whistled for a foul as Bridgewater now pushing up is Sweet Briar, trying to get some momentum on the offensive side. Bridgewater back on offense, and they are moving on up the field. Bridgewater still working in offensively. Now they are going to have it circled back out, shot towards the goal. And that's not going to go in, and the score will remain at 0. Bridgewater heads into today's game with a 7-8 record. They have one more game on after this, see if they can get a win today, and then fight against Washington and Lee to see if they can finish the season above 500. They are 500 right now in conference play, so you think if they get a win here today, it's the team that you would think that they are supposed to beat. Sweet Briar enters today's contest at 3-10. Been a bit of a struggle for Sweet Briar. They are coming off of a win, though. Be interested to see if they're able to carry that momentum into today's game, but nonetheless, Bridgewater enters today's contest at 3-3 in conference play. On the other hand, Sweet Briar is 1-6. So you get a win today if you're Bridgewater. Still a lot to go, and Sweet Briar is certainly not a program you can look over as they turn the ball over there. But the big topic of conversation tonight is ODAC seeding. Still a lot to play out in that regard. as Bridgewater will look to get the ball in play now offensively, and they will work up the field. Not able to find much momentum are any of these squads offensively. Defensively, both have been playing well, getting some stops and some clears back the other way. Now Bridgewater working offensively, getting some penetration now, and now it's going to be swatted away, potentially still being fought for. Right in front of the goal. No one able to come away with it yet. And we're going to get a whistle in a penalty corner, so penalty corner coming up. It was a scrum for the ball. Now we're going to see if Bridgewater will be able to take advantage of this penalty corner. Both of these programs and these squads are both coming into today's matchup with less penalty corners than their opponents for the year. See which one of these squads will be able to get more in field hockey. It's so important with the penalty corner. Ball will be inserted here shortly, and now it is. See what they'd like to do with it. They will look to pass it off. Decently open lane. They're going to give it up. Shot inside and deflected. So good defensive hold by the Vixens. See if they can limit the amount of penalty corners that they allow for today's game. But no, still a lot to talk about for the ODAC overall seeding. 9 field hockey squads in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, and the top 6 make the tournament as Bridgewater will get a possession right back, pushing towards the goal. Lost it for a second, and that will be a turnover. Bridgewater will settle in back on defense as the Vixens will look to get things started back. This is Hutman working up the field now, drawn by a couple of defenders, passes it off. Bridgewater will get a deflection, and now for Bridgewater, I believe that is Chandler. Chandler drew a couple of defenders, and ultimately that will be a turnover on the Vixens, and Bridgewater will be awarded the balls. They will look to clear. That's Grell out there who will pass up the field to Moondek. Moondek will pass it off, now working up the field. Emberger in tow for the ball. Not able to get there in time as the Vixens swatted it away, but Bridgewater in a good position to get it back. So rain continues to fall. Bridgewater still in control of the ball offensively. Good pass there in between a couple of defenders. Ball still being fought for, and now they're going to go ahead and call the foul and give the ball to the Vixens, who will launch that field and straight on out of bounds. So anyway, 16 field for the ODAC postseason tournament. Bridgewater currently slated on in 5th. A win today would lock up a spot in that tournament. As that pass to Parker was unable to be handled, and Bridgewater will give it up on the whistle. Immediate resumption of play by the Vixens, who will now work upfield, and they will pass it off. Bridgewater had it for a second, then whistled for a violation. That was Hutman again. Hutman with it, and she will look for some relief, unable to get any, and the ball will go right back towards Bridgewater. This is Sweet Briar's last ODAC game of the year. They take on Meredith next. They find themselves in 8th in the conference, but Bridgewater can lock up a spot in the postseason tournament today if they can go on to win. Most likely will be slotted in seeds 4 through 6 as they work up the field now, and the ball will be out past the goal. Still technically in play for seeds up to 2, 3, and 4, but 4 through 6 seems like the most likely scenario. They do take on Washington and Lee on Saturday. Washington and Lee is slated in 2nd right now, so still a lot could happen, but most likely they're looking at a seed of 4 through 6. Win here would be positive, of course, would clinch a playoff berth, and then see what we can do against Washington and Lee to maybe lock up a 4 seed, maybe a 3, depending on how Washington and Lee does tonight. Bridgewater still working up the field. You can continue to see the rain or the water come up out of the turf. Four ODAC games being played today. Randolph-Macon traveled to Virginia Wesleyan and got out of there with a 1-0 win. Randolph-Macon currently slates right ahead of Bridgewater. And ODAC play as this ball is in play up by towards Bridgewater's scoring goal and now knocked away. And knocked back away. Bridgewater back in control. Shot was kept low and redirected. That was Natalie Stock on the shot, and I believe now another penalty corner coming up for the Eagles. Foul was committed by the Vixens. This ball is in play, kept low on the ground. See if they like to pass it off or shoot. Pass is the first option. Now pass back. Looking inside, ball slow rolling in the middle there. Shot up, and that's going to be wide. So Sweet Briar holding on defensively in the first 9-10 minutes or so of this matchup here. Bridgewater moving upfield now, and they will have their shot blocked. So another quality defensive possession from the Vixens. See if they can get a clear now. Take you around the ODAC early on. 2 games have been played so far. Randolph-Macon traveling to Virginia Wesleyan and picking up a win, and Lynchburg hosted Roanoke today, and they won 8-0. Our game here tonight, and then Washington and Lee is playing Eastern Mennonite, currently in Lexington. So a few games around the ODAC as the seeding continues to get ironed out for the all-important postseason tournament, as the Vixens are hard-pressed to try to get this ball cleared. They've been struggling for a couple possessions now, but they've been holding well defensively. See how long this continues to keep up. As now Bridgewater wins control of the ball right back, and they will look to pass inside. And now working inside now around a couple of defenders. Passes inside, shoots. And scores! Bridgewater draws first blood in this one. I mentioned I don't know how much longer Sweet Briar is going to be able to keep this defensive effort up. They did well, but they were not able to get the ball cleared. And Abigail Moondeck is going to get on the board first. Kylie Amberger gets credited for the assist, and the score is 1-0. Good offensive possession by Bridgewater. Couldn't get shots to go early, but they stayed with it and kept the pressure on. So 1-0 is where we stand under 5 minutes remaining in the opening period. Bridgewater scores 1.8 per game, so they're at 1 right now. But the other stat of note to mention is Sweet Briar allows 3.6 goals a game, so that's a number to keep an eye on too. And they just average less than 1 goal a game, sitting at 0.7. Bridgewater averages about 2 goals a game given up, so they're right around even with that, as a foul is called. This ball's back in play, kept on the ground. This is Buckley with it. Buckley passes it off towards the middle. Sweet Briar will have a look at control, and they won't be able to capitalize for a second. No, good move to get around Buckley there. Now working up the field are the Vixens. That was Hutman who got around Buckley, pushed it to around the 40-yard mark, and lost control. Now moving upfield are the Eagles. No one able to win control yet. Foul will be called. And Buckley will go ahead and get things started on this possession for the Eagles. She will lose control. Good play there by the Vixens to win offensive control back. Buckley in hot pursuit. Disrupts that pass from Sapino. And now working across the field. See the water flying up. Certainly something to keep in mind out there as the ball rolls. Working upfield now are the Eagles, trying to expand on their lead. It was Watson with it into the game now. The ball got away from her there. And a penalty is called in another corner incoming for the Eagles. This is going to be their third corner of the game. Ball is back in place. See if they pass it off. Pretty deep pass. Pass again. Rolls on the ground. No one comes away with it yet. Still out in front of the goal. And unable to come away with the score. The score will remain at 1-0. Rain Hart made a save, not able to get back in position, but the defense made up for that. 1-0 remains the score. As Bridgewater still was on offense, and this is how they scored their opening goals. They stayed applying pressure on the Sweet Briar defense that's been known to give up a few goals per game, 3.6 exactly. They've kept the pressure applied. And on their opening goal, it turned into a goal. See what it does here. It's out in front now. And, just redirected. Good defense there displayed by Sweet Briar. Not over yet, though, as this ball will be redirected on out of bounds. Buckley will insert it for the Eagles. And that pass will be first touched by a Vixen. No one's coming away with it yet at the feet of a few players. Now the Vixens are going to get control. And this is Hutman working up the field. And she will have it taken away from her temporarily and have it passed right back to her. And Buckley is there to clean up that errant pass. Buckley working on the opposite side now. Pass will be collected by the Vixens. Buckley's there. Buckley quality action in there tonight. Now working upfield are the Eagles once again. Quick pass out. Redirected a couple of times and a violation called. Another penalty corner upcoming. So their fourth penalty corner of the match. Have had not a ton of success in this one. This ball was put in play, passed around a couple of times in the middle. Now, shot coming up, deflected a couple of times. Another one will be saved again. So another good defensive possession off a penalty corner attempt for the Vixens. Still trail 1-0. Final minute of the first period. Bridgewater will keep control of the ball, and that's been the story of the opening period. Sweet Briar's done pretty good defensively, but they have not been able to get a lot of clears, and Madeline Miller down there, Bridgewater's goalkeeper, has not seen much action down there tonight, so good on the Bridgewater midfield as that shot from Autumn Just went just wide. See how Sweet Briar will elect to play this final 20 seconds, see if they will just let it run on down, or let's see what they will try to do. Bridgewater might force the issue here. This is Buckley running, trying to get around a defender. Marked well, drew two defenders. Sweet Briar in possession of it now. Buckley fighting hard. Penalty called. And a big shot down there, maybe just to kill some more time, and that will be the end of the first period. Bridgewater leads Sweet Briar 1-0. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Jobson Athletic Complex, where the Eagles of Bridgewater College lead the Vixens of Sweet Briar College 1-0 in this field hockey matchup. Bridgewater has played this game, you would think, to their game plan. They've been steady on offense. Only one goal has found the back of the net, however, or one shot has found the back of the net. However, they've applied pressure offensively for the entire evening, and Sweet Briar has not been able to clear the ball very much. Now working first offensively are the Eagles. 15 minutes, second half coming up right now. See if they can expand their lead or if Sweet Briar can flip the switch. And if they can get something going offensively. Now, though, Sweet Briar is going to settle right back in on defense, just like it was in the opening period. Bridgewater is within striking distance. Foul called. Sweet Briar will take back control. Fighting for it now. Another foul is going to be called, and Bridgewater will be awarded the ball right back. No one really able to come away with the ball past 20, 30 seconds or so now. The referee will step in and award the ball off to Bridgewater. Buckles will look back for some relief towards that defensive line. He will pass it up. Bridgewater now working the far side of the field. Misting rain continues to fall. Sweet Briar will insert the ball, instantly deflected by Bridgewater, working it fit offensively now and stopped away. Sweet Briar's hanging around. They're going to need to get some defensive stops, though. Oh, good cut now, working upfield. Shot blocked. Continuing to work upfield. And a stoppage called and another penalty corner coming up. Sweet Briar has been hanging tough in a lot of their games. They beat EMU, of course, on Saturday, as I mentioned. They dropped to nationally ranked Washington and Lee, 8-0. That was, and then their other games rattle some off here. They lost by 1 as this ball is inserted now off a penalty corner. Moving inside now. Ball's up in the air. They lost it there for a second. Another corner's coming up. They lost to Virginia Wesleyan, Roanoke, and Macon. Randolph-Macon all by 1. Only scoring in Virginia Wesleyan, that score finished 1-2, and then they fell to Randolph-Macon and Roanoke 1-0. So they've been playing well defensively this later part of the season. Washington and Lee was, of course, a tough task. And then they shut out EMU, so they can play effective defense. That's no doubt about that. A lot of their goals were let up against them in the beginning of the season, of course. Then the Eagles let up against Washington and Lee will hurt the stat, but other than that, take out the game against a nationally ranked opponent. They've been playing pretty well defensively. They're going to need to continue to play well defensively tonight if they want to have a chance. They just can't get the ball cleared. As this ball was worked around. And another stop for this defense of Sweet Briar. Bridgewater is continuing to slowly work offensively, take what they can get, and then, of course, they're leading right now. They were able to find some success there in the first period, scoring the opening goal of the game. And Sweet Briar is now behind the 8 ball once again as they are on defense again for another penalty corner. Working out now, passing out left, just not able to come away with that one in pursuit now, and a stoppage. So just not able to bring that pass in. Will result in a stop, and then Bridgewater still working right back. Just has it again, working around a defender, makes a good move, keeps the ball in play. Now pass will be cut off by a Vixen. Looking up, this is Buckley with it, and she will pass back out, looking for some relief behind her. Buckles will pass cross field. Good pass, good accurate pass. And working upfield in the middle now. Chance at it. Goalie on the ground, out of position. Good play, however. Still no one able to come away with the ball. Bridgewater had a great chance to score. Reinhardt found herself out of position, but the defense of Sweet Briar that has played well recently fought back well, but they have just not been able, look, that's another example, not able to get the ball cleared. Not allowing the offense to really get to work. I don't think the Vixens have had a quality offensive possession all night, but they might right now. Moving upfield now are the Vixens, and marked well. Ball squeezed out. Still working. Flipped up. Moving sideways now. And another whistle is called. Sweet Briar will keep control. So there's one thing to gain the quality offensive possessions, and then there's another topic of being able to score on them. Being down 1-0 early means that you will have to score on at least one of them, as they will turn that ball over. Now Bridgewater is now working upfield. Good pass there, middle of the field. That's Amberger with it. Quick pass over to the far side of the field. Bridgewater continues to work up. Pass off target. Doesn't matter. Still scooped up by an Eagle. Working upfield and had it stripped away from her. That was Lexi Francis. Foul will be called. Bridgewater, on the other hand, has been scoring goals. They've coming off a 4-0 win against Meredith here on Saturday in an out-of-conference matchup. They lost 2-3 to Macon a week ago, which could be very significant in terms of seeding Macon with a small win today. In a shootout, Bridgewater dropped that one 2-3 as this ball is put in play now to the penalty corner coming up. See if they like to pass. They will like to pass. And they will have the ball saved. Another great play by Hart. Hart knocks out of there, leaves her team and saves 87 coming into today's matchup. Sophomore out of Maine. Leaving her mark on today's game. Did let one go by her, but has played pretty well other than that. Got out of position a couple times, but hasn't hurt her outside of that one goal. Bridgewater still working offensively. That's Amberger there in the middle. Has it taken away from her. Now the Vixens moving upfield. See if they choose to go quicker, settle things down. They will look to settle things down, and a whistle will be blown. But Bridgewater, on the other hand, talking about their recent games, they did drop 1-7 against Lynchburg, but before that, they scored 6 against Eastern Mennonite, and then before that, 2 goals. So they've been scoring goals, and they scored early here today. And see if they will end up with another one. They've been applying plenty of offensive pressure. This ball is flipped up the field, kind of off target a little bit. They've been applying plenty of offensive pressure, but have only scored once. Hart's played pretty well down there. In goal, this ball flipped up way in the air, knocked down first by an Eagle. Penalty called and possession is awarded to Sweet Briar, who will get things started. Pass in the middle of the field. Still working and then knocked back out of there. Bridgewater not allowing anything to get close to Miller. Miller's played well. Leads her team in saves at 56. Her and Ashley now split time. That's essentially how that goes. Typically, Miller typically takes the first half and now closes out the game. See what they end up doing today. But in their split time, Madeline Miller leads her team in saves with 56. Has not really had to work too hard tonight. Don't know if she's faced a single shot so far in this one. About halfway, almost halfway through the second period. As Bridgewater will work upfield now, this is Buckley looking for some help, and we'll look backwards. That's Buckles. Buckles passed it out too far out in front of the intended target. Now the Vixens will continue to work back upfield. Buckles is there again, and that's going to be a whistle. Ball was back in play now. This is Haley Littlefield in control of the ball. Flipped it up, had her pass deflected, got it back again, passed it off, and that pass is intercepted. Good positioning by Buckley, who will knock it out of bounds again, fighting for it, close sideline, and Bridgewater will be awarded possession. Bridgewater in control now, working upfield. Francis running, look out, has it again, and that ball got too far in front of her. Not able to do much of anything on that possession. So Sweet Briar's played better. Certainly in this half. They've gotten a little closer offensively and have not spent as much time facing pressure on their defense. As there they go again, working at past midfield. But draws a couple of defenders and the momentum kind of sputters out around that 30 to 40 yard mark. They will get it now as they continue to work upfield. A couple of defenders come to apply pressure, and they will take the ball away now. Moving up the field is Bridgewater, looking to expand their lead. Look out, running upfield fast. See if they look to slow it down or continue the press. They're continuing, so maybe slowing down a little bit. Bridgewater still in control. That's Buckley coming back towards it. Barely missed it. And the Vixens will resume their offensive push with Hutman. This is Littlefield with it now, who will insert the ball, and she will. Passes it off. And another foul committed. A lot of fouls been committed by Sweet Briar so far in this one. They've faced plenty of penalty corners. None have proved costly, but they did let one goal go by them, and they are now playing from behind pretty early. Bridgewater now working up the field. Parker cutting in. Not much going. And a penalty corner incoming. Lexi Francis will put the ball in play as we're now about 5.5 minutes remaining in the second period. 1-0 is the score. Ball's put in play. They always look to pass. This time they're going to shoot first. And that one will be wide. So not a ton of success on the penalty corners. They've sure had plenty of them, but not much going for them in that category. Sweet Briar holds, and they are going to look to get this ball cleared. Aaron passes up, and Bridgewater will be there to collect it. Passes it off. This is Grell. Grell will look middle of the field, have it taken away, and taken to the ground is Vixen. Passing it up, and Aaron, and that one will keep on rolling. Bridgewater in control of the ball now. And they will give control right back. Littlefield with it now, passes it off to Hutman, who will pass it off again. Not much going. The offensive possessions for Sweet Briar have been getting better, but they haven't quite turned into quality offensive possessions like Bridgewater's. A lot of Bridgewater's have been good quality offensive possessions, but we'll see. Still plenty of time left. Halftime coming up. If you can stop Bridgewater from potentially scoring again, head into halftime 1-0. That's definitely salvageable, but now Bridgewater moving upfield. Look out, in the clear. Ball loose in front of the goal, up, and nothing working there. Another corner coming up. So another penalty corner incoming. Been about 7. This ball is inserted. See what they like to do. This time they went to the left, and that time it worked. Jade Buckles is going to get it in there. They changed their approach on that penalty corner. Typically they go up towards the middle. This time they found the closest player to the inserter, and they got that one to go. So much for heading into the half at 1-0. It's 2-0 now. So Buckles gets a goal, senior out of Stafford, Virginia. About 3.5 minutes remaining in the second period, and Sweet Briar is going to need to change their offensive approach. If they want to keep in this one, Bridgewater still working, looking to expand their lead even further. It's 2-0 right now. They would love to get it to 3 before halftime. They're going to get a good chance here as the foul is going to be called. As another corner is coming up. So plenty of corners for Bridgewater in this one. Sweet Briar has had none on their side. See what they like to do on this one. Worked on their very last attempt. They're going to go back to what they used to do in the middle, then passing it back out. And this one will be shot up, maybe not collected the way she wanted it to off the stick, and Sweet Briar will hold off that one, but they couldn't the one before, so 2-0 is the score. Under 3 minutes remaining now in the opening half. Bridgewater working, certainly have controlled the time of possession in this one. Oh, good move. Blinding speed being displayed, and hop back onto it was Hart. And Hutman will take it on away. Good speed there, but not enough to wind up in a goal. Moving upfield is Hutman, seeing if they can get one of their goals back. They're going to need a quality offensive possession, and that was probably not what they were looking for, as the instant turnover will allow Bridgewater to continue to work back upfield. Oh, good anticipation being displayed there, as the Vixens will look to move upfield and score once again. This ball will be taken back by Bridgewater. Fought for by Kylie Parker and unable to come away with it against Megan Newton. So Newton will... Sorry, I take that back. That's Lila Birdline out there, who inserted the ball. Looking her way again. Big, powerful shot. Couldn't bring it in. This is Parker now with another shot of her own, or pass, rather. As another foul on the Vixens will be called as we approach the final minute of the opening half now. See if Bridgewater will be able to expand their lead to 3-0 or 2-0. It will remain. Ball was put back in play. This is Buckles now. Passes it off pretty quickly, then back outside. Ball still being bounced around a couple of times. No one able to really come away with it. Ball now loose in front of the goal, then knocked away by the Vixens. Good heads-up defensive play. No one really able to come away with this one. Final 20 seconds coming up. Buckles now in a hurry. See what she can get going. No one really able. This is Stock with it. She passes it out wide. Still moving towards the goal. Last effort here, winding seconds. Moving towards the goal. Centers it. And they're going to score in the final seconds. 1 second remaining. Malin Watson, sophomore out of Fredericksburg, is going to get a goal with 1 second. Wow. How about that? 3-0 heading into halftime. They scored with 1 second remaining in the half. A couple of quick passes, and Malin Watson's shot ended up in the back of the net with 1 second remaining. How about that? 3-0 is our score heading into halftime. And that's where we will head to our break. All right, halftime coming up. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Jobson Athletic Complex, where the Eagles of Bridgewater College, due to Malin Watson's truly last-second goal scored with 1 second remaining, leads the Vixens of Sweet Briar College 3-0 in this late-season ODAC field hockey matchup. Ball was put in play, then called back off. All right, now we're back in play. 3-0 in goal now for the Eagles is Ashley now. As I mentioned earlier, they typically swap halfway through the game. And that's what they continued to do. This one, look at the goalie stats. Madeline Miller has about 35 more minutes played. I mean, it's hard to gauge based on overtime periods and stuff like that. Not every game goes the scheduled distance, but Miller has more saves, 56 to 44. And Miller also has allowed 5 more goals, 16 to 11. So split time between the two goalies out of Yorktown. And they both done pretty well back there, as Bridgewater will look to finish this one up. And improve to 500 on the year and just over 500 in ODAC play. As Sweet Briar is working upfield, the rain is certainly picking up there. It's moved away from more of a mist to more of a steady rain, and it's certainly going to continue on. In Bridgewater for about 15 hours, so certainly in it now. Rain come down pretty good out there. Turf collecting more water. And these two squads will have to power through the elements out there. This shot is way up in the air. And awarded back to the Eagles. As Bridgewater looks to get a clear and start to work offensively again. They scored a couple of their goals. They scored their first goal. They scored their first goal in the first period, and their last two goals in the final few minutes of the second period. Malin Watson scored with 1 second left. Really separated this. We were saying if Sweet Briar could get into halftime at 1-0, then they could maybe salvage this game and try to get some quality offensive possessions up in the second half. However, just not much success. And then it was the final few minutes of the second period that really set the tone for how the second half could go. Bridgewater did exactly what they needed to do, got out ahead. They had played better than Sweet Briar for the most part in the opening half, but not able to really show on the scoreboard. So the final few minutes were very decisive. Bridgewater scored a couple late goals to really put their foot in the ground as the dominant team. And we'll see how they approach the second half as they prepared. They'll face off with Washington and Lee on Saturday. That will be a tough task. This Sweet Briar squad fell to them 8-0. They're obviously playing better than Sweet Briar at this point in the year, but still will be a tough task. Nationally ranked opponent. It is at home, and if they could get that win, would certainly be positive for their ODAC standings, but they're probably looking at 4, 5, or 6, which means they will be going on the road. But this program has a long history of making the ODAC playoffs, and they don't intend to stop this year in Emily Bagby's first season at Bridgewater, which is going not too bad. Get a win here tonight, hold on for the final couple periods, and they'll be at 500 overall and above 500 in conference play. On the other hand, for Sweet Briar, Isabella Condi is in her first season as well at Sweet Briar. First conference win of her coaching career in the ODAC was Sweet Briar's last game out against Eastern Mennonite. Working upfield now, finally, are the Eagles. Ooh, tough. Ooh. It looked like it hurt. Shot, or pass at least, from Sarah Lesnick, freshman out of Everett, Pennsylvania. Hit hard off the lower leg of a Vixen. Not sure who that was. Ball being fought for, no one really able to come away with it yet. So not a whole lot of action going on in this third period. Approaching halfway through, no goals have been scored, but the damage was done in the final few minutes of the second period. Sweet Briar now working up the field, passing it back to Littlefield. Not a whole lot going on offensively for Sweet Briar. I don't think they've had a shot on goal all game. Bridgewater defense really stepping up in a game where they needed to. They did shut out Meredith over the weekend, and then in the conference play, they've shut out Roanoke, Virginia Wesleyan, and Eastern Mennonite. So they've had a couple conference shutouts, too, as they're working up the field now. In the clear, look out, pass. Flick back up, and that's going to go in. Bridgewater stretches their lead even further, up to 4, in a good display of speed moving up the field. Molly Best is going to get on the scoreboard. Good season for Best, the junior out of Pennsylvania. This ball is now back in play. And Bridgewater has done exactly what they wanted to do, score early, hold off, and then wait for the moment to strike those. Those last couple goals in the second period were crucial and have let Bridgewater really kind of control and settle into the second half. as they would like to. So everything's going up for Bridgewater. Just how they wanted to heading into today's game, and now they're still going to apply pressure on offense. This is Natalie Stock with it now, freshman out of Ashburn. Had a great season so far. A few freshmen getting some starts tonight. Abigail Moondeck, Natalie Stock, both seeing starting action tonight as they're moving up towards the goal again. Looked to get a quick shot off and was denied. Shot up again. Covered up. Still being fought for. Deflected a couple times. Sitting out in front of the goal. No one come away with it yet. Hart's way out of position, and they're going to get that one. Reinhardt was never quite able to get back into position. That was Lexi Francis getting in. That was hard to tell at first. A lot of bodies down there, but Lexi Francis going to get that goal. So now the Bridgewater lead is up to 5 with 5 minutes remaining in the third period. They're pouring it on now. Ball's back in play, still being fought for. Foul will give possession of the ball. Bridgewater working in the clear, trying to get around a couple of defenders. Good move, 1-on-1 with the goalie to beat. Flips it up, and that's just wide. Francis wanted another one, just a little wide on that. Score remains 5-0. Ball's in place, Sweet Briar in possession. There were a few minutes there at the beginning of this half that they were applying some offensive pressure on the Bridgewater's defense, but that did not turn into much, and Bridgewater was able to pile on a couple more goals, get it to 5, and you can see the pretty low energy out there, out in the elements and stuff. It's tough out there. It's cold. It's a little breezy. It's rainy for sure. As Bridgewater's now working up towards the goal again. Deflected away at first. Pass back out. Nobody's there. Final 3 minutes of the third period coming up right now, as that pass was not connected with completely. Now Bridgewater's working up. This is Watson with it again, scored earlier, trying to get around. Nothing really going. So a penalty corner coming up now for the Eagles. They've had some success with them. Sweet Briar's had no penalty corners. Bridgewater's had many. I believe they scored on one of them. And on that one, they changed their strategy a little bit. Typically, they go to the player towards the middle. Their goal, they went on the outside. This one's going to go towards the middle. They might look to pass off. They're going to slow this one down. Now they're going to pass it off towards the middle. Shot up, deflected. Goalie out of position once again. Ball squeezed out. Stock with the shot was saved Hart ran back. So Sweet Briar is going to hold off that penalty corner. Ball's back in play. Sweet Briar trying to work on defense, trying to get this ball cleared into some offense of their own. They've been able to do so, and that's pretty much been the story. It was a story early on in the game, how they were unable to get the ball cleared. Really, the ball is out in front of the goal right now. Corner incoming, but they were never really able to get the ball cleared. They had pretty good defensive possessions, but did not result in much clear. They really got the ball past midfield, and then when they did end up working on that a little bit out in the second period, they were never really able to get past the 30 or the 40-yard mark. And then by the time they had some quality possessions, then they're towards the 20 and the 10-yard marks, Bridgewater had scored a couple and expanded their lead, and before you know it's 5-0. So under 2 minutes remaining in the third period now, Bridgewater is looking to run this one out. Very content with how this game is going. Pass up. That's going to be low, shot on the ground, kick back out by Hart. This is Chandler with it. Couple big strokes there from Cepino. Wanted to launch that one downfield, not able to do so, not able to make clear contact with it. Now working upfield are the Vixens. That's Hutman out there trying to follow the ball. Now this is Best working upfield, scored once today, pokes it up, and taken away by Bridgewater. Ball's now back in play. Final 40 seconds of the third period coming up. Bridgewater still leads 5-0. 2 goals in the second period and 2 goals of the third period have really blown this one open. Sweet Briar's clearing struggles have been the story of their game tonight. Defensive possessions have been pretty good, but if you can't clear the ball, that's where you run into some trouble, and that's where they certainly have tonight. Now working upfield is Stock, trying to work up, and Hart will kick it, and that will hit Stock, I believe, and that's how the third period will end. Bridgewater leads 5-0. Final 15 coming up. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here. Fourth period coming up. Bridgewater leads Sweet Briar 5-0. As players are breaking their huddles. So final 15 minutes coming up. See if Sweet Briar is able to get on the scoreboard or if Bridgewater will be able to pitch a shutout. They lead 5-0. Shouldn't have to worry about that. Let's see where the final 15 minutes takes us. It's been all Bridgewater so far. Easy day for the goalies, Madeline Miller and Ashley Now. Miller is a senior, so she'll be graduating. That will leave Now as the presumed starter for next year. There's no more goalkeepers on the roster. I'm sure, of course, bring one in or acquire one in a different manner, but it's looking like it right now, so keep that in mind as the season comes to a close, as we look towards next season. Few games left, as the seeding is still something that will be worked out. Washington and Lee leads Eastern Mennonite 5-0, similar to the score here. And that will do it for the ODAC play today. So it's looking like Randolph-Macon, Lynchburg, Bridgewater, and Washington and Lee will all get ODAC field hockey wins today. ODAC matchups for the final game day of the regular season. Eastern Mennonite travels to Lynchburg. Washington and Lee will play here on Saturday. Roanoke will play Randolph-Macon in Ashland, and Shenandoah will travel down to Virginia Wesleyan. Sweet Briar hosts Meredith in an out-of-conference matchup. So that's what we have coming up for the ODAC. Now moving upfield, this is Autumn just with the ball. Good pass out. That's the direction of Stock. Stock unable to keep that one controlled and has it taken away from her. That's Larkin Schreier out there. But Best will be able to come back up with it and continue to work upfield. That's Mackenzie Buckley up there. As the rain continues to fall. Now we'll look out in the open field. Oh, the ball just got away from her there for a second. Had some real momentum. Foul there on Lexi Francis. Ball back in play. Sweet Briar in control of the ball here as we work in the final 10 minutes of the game. So see how we're going to be able to finish this one. Final 10 minutes coming up. This ball is up. Bridgewater will take back control. Redirect towards the goal. Interesting redirect there. Not sure if that was the intent, but Reinhardt was ready and kicked it on out. Ball then rolls out of bounds after being redirected a couple of different times. Bridgewater's goal leader, Kylie Amberger, has had a fairly quiet night tonight, so a great quality player, leads the team in goals, assists, and points. And the same deal with Sweet Briar. Emmy Birdline leads her team in goals and points with 4 and 8, respectively, and has also had a pretty quiet night. It was pretty much the biggest turning point in this game was likely Malin Watson's goal with 1 second remaining in the opening half. 2-0 heading in halftime wouldn't have been terrible. I mean, they were close, 1-0. They allowed a couple goals. In fact, in the final couple minutes, as they're close to another one here, as that one just squeaks by. But the final goal, three-goal deficit heading into halftime is always going to be tough, and then you allow 2 goals then in the third period, and it just becomes a little more difficult, of course, as you move on. And they've had limited offensive success, and Bridgewater's been able to dominate and control most of the game. Bridgewater called for the foul there. As the ball continues to be knocked around, no one able to really come away with it yet. Bridgewater in control temporarily. Little off-target pass. And Stock is not able to get it in her control, and that will be a turnover. Sweet Briar will have the ball. See if they can get on the board here. Final few minutes of this one. As this pass is off target and will be first touched by an Eagle. Trying to work upfield, then touched by Layla Robinson, freshman out of New Jersey. Passes it around a couple of times. Sweet Briar still in control, looking for relief on the defensive line. Now passes up. That's Palazzo out there, working upfield. And taken away by the Eagles, at least knocked around temporarily. Taken back, that's Hutman, who will still have control after a foul. Poked away. And then will be called for the foul, giving Bridgewater control of the ball. Ball's now back in play, immediately taken back over by Bridgewater, moving upfield, draws a couple of defenders. That's Best. Best looks the way of a teammate who finds some relief, working around a defender, then taken back away, not able to work around the defender. Bridgewater back in control of it now. Ooh, tough shot off of the lower leg of a Vixen, still being fought for. Bridgewater will take it back away. That's Best, playing very well tonight, passes it back up, and still fighting for it. Zapino was fouled, is what they say. Best committed the foul. Still working. No one really able. Been a tough 45 seconds for either squad. Then working back upfield are the Eagles. Ball's deflected. Good defense there. Trying to work back upfield. Pass will be close enough. And they will continue to work. Natalie Stock with the ball, passes it out, taken away by Vixen. Foul is called. Ball's in play now. Stock wasn't ready for it. Regained her footing and now is fighting back for it. Passes it out. Good idea. Not able to come away with it is Bridgewater. Now working at field is Sapino. Stick contact there. Ball ricochets downfield. Bridgewater closest to it. And they will keep possession of the ball. Ball is back in play. Bridgewater in possession, working at field, maybe trying to get one more goal, maybe not. See if they're content with 5 or not. They're playing very well defensively. Looks to be a shutout, but you never know. 4 minutes remaining. Ball's back in play. Bridgewater working on it, trying to perfect their shutout. Sweet Briar's not gotten overly close. Again, I don't think a Bridgewater goalkeeper has faced a shot all night. Ball is going to be resumed in play. Sweet Briar working offensively, trying to get on the board. 3 minutes left to do so. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. Just have not been able to find much offensive momentum tonight. Now working upfield. So we'll look at the ODAC standings after today's game. Shenandoah was off, so they'll be at 6-1. Washington Lee is also going to be at 6-1. So is Lynchburg. Macon's going to be at 4-3. Bridgewater will be at 4-3. And Roanoke will fall to 3-4. Think about it here. Bridgewater beat Roanoke in a double overtime victory. So even if Bridgewater drops and Roanoke wins their next matchup, both would be 4-4, and Bridgewater would have the head-to-head. So looking at today's games, Bridgewater will be no worse than the 5 seed out of contention after the Washington Lee and Lynchburg wins for seeds 2 and 3. So then it will be between them and Macon. They did drop to Macon in a shootout 2-3 on the 22nd a week ago. And they will take on Roanoke in a game anybody could win. So Bridgewater could be the 4 seed, or they could be the 5 seed. Decent chance they play Washington Lee twice. So they host them here on Saturday. That's what they have coming up Saturday at 2 p.m. is their next game, as we're under 90 seconds remaining now. Sweet Briar, on the other hand, will play Meredith at their home field, also at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Sweet Briar ODAC season is done. They will finish with a conference record of 1-7 win over EMU on Saturday. Final minute now. So Bridgewater will officially lock up a postseason berth for a numerous amount of times in a row. I'm not exactly sure the number, but I know this program has a history of making the playoffs, and this was a great accomplishment for Emily Bagby in her first season at Bridgewater, coming back to the school that she graduated from and leading them to a playoff, to an ODAC playoff berth in her first year is certainly an accomplishment. 15 seconds remaining. Rain's really coming down in there. You can really see it now. And, of course, it's going to do this for a while now. And this game is over. Bridgewater has locked up an ODAC postseason berth. Congratulations to Emily Bagby and her squad for getting an ODAC postseason berth in their first year. Domination. It was the name of the game tonight. Take you all through some individual stats. Bridgewater, of course, won 5-0. 29 shots to 0 shots and 16 shots on goal to 0 shots on goal. Sweet Briar led in the foul category, 55-45, and that was pretty much it. Not much going for Sweet Briar tonight. Individual stats. Corinne Klingler led with 6 shots. She's also heading into today's game with the team leader in shots at 43 plus 6, of course, is 49 now shots on the year. Natalie Stock and Molly Best both had 4 shots on goal. And that's all we have for you all tonight in this rainy evening in Bridgewater. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night. I'm Tate Mills. Thank you very much.